Hey and welcome in first video about Android. So to get started with Android, first open Android Studio and you will see the screen. You may not see recent open because you opened it first time. This means last or recent opened project, but you maybe see only this screen. So just click start a new Android Studio project. Here you give a name for your project. Let me name it first app. You could give it any name. Here is your company name or your company domain. You could give any domain for your company. Imagine I want to name it just arobay.com. He take my computer name, so it will become arobay.com. One most interesting part is the package name. The package name is the name of your application in the store. If you see, my application in the store will be com.arobay.firstapp. He just combined this company name with application name. He add company name dot application name. You could edit this name and give it any name like Arobay. Just remove this one and then done, change it. So what mean package name? Package name is the identification of your application in the store. Every application in the store have to have a unique identification ID. If I go to the store, I just open this my application in the store. If you see here in the top, this application have a specific ID. This is the package name for my application. If I go open any other project or any other application in the store, you will see the ID or the package name for that application. So you have to use unique ID so there is no another developer using same name. Then select the place where you want to save your project. When you are just selected in the Android Studio project, you could change it by click here. I don't want to change it. Then click next. Here you would select the type of your project. That means where you want your application work. I just want my application work on tablet and phone because I'm developing Android for just a phone. You could develop for Wear or for TV or for another Android audio. Just click it, check it and add it. Just for me, I'm just in all my tutorial will work with phone and tablet. Here if you see the minimum version, we now Android start the version from 1 and now we are in 24, I think. Yes, 24. So every version have a specific ID, API. So if you see now in 24. If I say 24, that means I will only support the version or the phone that have operating system 24 and after. See, he say you will cover less than 1% from the app in the store. If I select 19, that means I will cover any device have API 19 and after. See, he will say you will cover 73% of the device in the store. I prefer to select 12 because 12 support ads also. At the same time, you could use it support other type of libraries. So you'll see with the 12 API 12 will cover 79. Or that will be great. So I prefer to use this version to cover more device. It depends on you how many devices you want to support. For sure you want to support as much as you could, so it's better to select 12 and after. Click next, select empty project, then next, then okay, then wait for some time. Here we go. Now the application start. If you see I have this screen, I just close this some tips and just remove this one, this for GitHub. The part that I'm interested in is this my project. If you remember, we said in our project we'll have a layout and we'll have Java file manage that layout. So if you open resource layout, you'll see this layout. This layout may name it activity main. If you see, this is the layout and this is some tools that you could manage the layout. You change the design from here to here, this type or this type of design. Just select this one. You select the type of device that you want to work with, like Nexus 4, Nexus 7, or the API version you want to work with. Just leave it default, will be better. Also, you could zoom it in and zoom it out. This is just the device. If you see this device, the structure of the application, I just have only one text view in this layout. If you see when I click the text view, I will see the properties for the text view. You have many tools here. You could drag and drop them. For example, button. If you see, here is the toolbox. You could drag. If I just take a button, I just go to drop it. If you see, the button will appear in my project component. If you see, this is the button. And when I select it, I see the properties for the button. So now how this layout will work. We said every layout have a specific Java file managed. So because I have activity main, so there should be by default activity main Java file manager. This don't have to be same name. You could give a different name, but by default Android, when you create activity, name it activity main, he will generate file Java, name it activity main. If you see this activity have just one method, name it onCreate. So how does that work? Let me give you how the application will work or will fire. First of all, when someone starts the application will go to the main phase. If you see here, this is main phase. So in the main phase, you look for the tag name it application, look for activity. There will be many activity later in this one, but he look for activity that have this filter, this 3 lines. The activity have this 3 lines, that mean launch main and launcher, that mean this activity will be fire first activity. So first thing, he will fire this one, this Java file. If I go to it, say this is the Java file. When the Java file start, this Java file first method by default will execute onCreate, because onCreate is part of app compact activity. This is related to the Android layout. So first one event will execute by default this one. So when it execute, we need to display something. We need to display this layout in front of the user. So how we display? Just we say set content view R, that's mean resource. I just want to access to this layout, so I have to say R resource dot layout dot name of the activity. So R dot layout dot name of the activity. Now if we run, let's just make sure it does what we say is correctly. So just wait for some time. That's great. So again, how this activity is applied to us, as I told you, when you run the application, first thing we'll execute the main phase. Main phase will look for activity have this filter. So the one have this main activity. So if you go it, this one will set content display, will display to us this layout. So this is how it's work and how it display this layout for us. Let me do some communication with this layout. We said this layout or this event will be fire first event in the system. So I want to do something. I want to change the content of this text view to another content. If you see this text view and select it from here, it's better selected from here, not from here. If you see this text view have number of properties, for example, ID. ID is something unique. You give it to any component in your UI. Every UI have number of component. If you see this component, you give for everyone specific ID if you want to access to it. Let me give it TXT display. Okay, display, enter. I just give it specs ID. If you say here I have some properties, we will go through the properties. Here's the content, what the data that I want to display inside it. If you see you have by default hello world, here is it. You could change it like welcome. If you see now I have the data inside the text, if you name it welcome, you could change it. So this is the properties. If you want to change it from the code, how you could change it from the code? Okay, wait a minute. We said this layout is managed by this file. So I want from this file changing the content of this component in the layout. How I could access to this component? For sure, by its ID. So if you see this one have ID name it text display. If I go to the code, just click preview and just select this one, you will see the component more details. If you see this is layout, if I select it, this is how it appear to the user, but this is how it would be appearing to the developer. This is the text view. I will teach you in next video what does this mean. So if you see this text view, name it text view in the capital letter. Make sure Android will case sensitive. So capital letter different from small letter. So name it text view and it have a specific ID, name it TXT display. So how I would access to this one? So just go to the code. First of all, you could just define text view. So make sure you write text view in the capital. Do not write it in this way. Do not write it TXT or text in this way. This will not work. You have to start with capital because Android is case sensitive. Just give it name. This is just an instance from the text view class. Why we use a text view class? Because the component that we want to access to it is text view. So now I want to access this component in the layout. So I could access to it for sure by its ID. So how I could do that? I have to say this one will be equal find a view by ID. I will say R by capital. Make sure when I write capital, you have to write capital. Dot ID dot the name of the ID. Well, the name of the ID is text display. That's mean, hey, please go and look in the UI, find the view by ID. So look for the UI that I'm connected with. which the UI this class connected with. For sure, this is the layout that we connected, its main activity. So go and look for in the main activity for the ID named text display. So he will go to this activity looking for some component named text display. This one, no. This one, no. This one have this one. So okay, he will take this component and he will have it in this place. If you see, here is instance of a class and here is layout access. So we need to do casting. So we could change this data type to this data type. In Java, to do casting, we open a bracket, we add text view, then close it. Why text view? Because this one is text view. Now this instance, it will represent this layout or will represent this component in the layout. So you could change the text of it. So if you see which component that for text, if you see Android.text, that means the text of this layout, it's have a welcome. You could change it welcome now. If you see layout welcome now, I want to change it by code. So how I would do it, we have this component, I will say text display dot set text. If you see, I could access to any properties. Also, I could access to the method. We will see it later on. For example, you could access many things. I want to access to text, so I will say text set text. I want to change the content of the text. I will say set text. What I want to change, I will say fire from main. I will just change the content to the fire from main. Okay. Now when I run it, the content of layout or the text view should be changed. We should not see welcome now. We have to see this one because this one will be setting the component. How it's set it? Because we said first thing will execute in the class it's on create. So when execute on create, it will fire this event. So we just fire it, then we change contents. If you see, he say hi from main because we fire this event. Now I want to go in more detail. I want to, when I click on the button, I do some operation. Wait a minute. If I go to the layout, what I have here is it. This is the button. If I go to the properties design, I see this is the button. The button have properties and have event on a click. Let me give it name bu click. Give it name. Give the button name event name it bu click. If I go to the design, you see this is the button. This is button have this is the properties of the buttons like Android text. It's have button. Let me change the text to click me. You could change it from here and you could change it from the layout. It's have the specific width, specific height, specific ID, and it's on a click. On a click, that means when someone click on the button, it's fire this event. But still, this event is not available. Have to be implement here. So how we implement it? It's really easy. Just stop on it until you see it here. Just click create. So now you have this event. So this event will, when anyone click on this button, this event will be fired. So now we want to change the content of the text or the text display. I'm sure you will not do this operation. You will not copy all this code and you go here and do it. So you don't have to repeat yourself. You say click from button. It's working, but click from button. But it's not worth. So you will not do it. You need to one-time access to this layout. So it's better to just take this one and change it to the public. How you change public? Just add it app. So that's mean this one could be accessed from any layout. So first thing, you just define text view, you just initialize it inside on create, then when someone click on it, you could change it. So now if I run the application now, I will see some different. First thing, when application will run, first thing will fire the event, the content will be changed to fire from main. Here we go. See, first thing will fire this fire from main. Now when I click on the button, the content should be changed. So if I click on it, see, click from button. See, when I click on the button, this event is fired, then the content is changed. This is some other tools you could use it. Messaging, slap some message, run, and terminal. This is run, you will see the error or anything that's happening in the system when you execute, and many of them. So yes, this is the basic. Just I want to show you what the layout and how you could communicate between layout and code. Every layout have specific code managed, and that is. And see you next.